What's up, everybody? It's your boy Heaven Clark back with another edition of the Sports Fanatic, and we are talking about we're going prowling, walk, talk like a T Wolf, prowling, walk, talk like a T Wolf. The Minnesota Timberwolves stun the crowd in Denver. They stun the media who is rooting for Denver. Anthony Edwards, the new kid in town, puts on a masterpiece, 43 points. Um, he added 7 rebounds, 3 assists, all right, and 6 of 6 from the line. He was 3 of 7 from downtown. And the Minnesota Timberwolves take a 1-0 series lead over the defending champion Denver Nuggets. 106-99. Now, I say it's a shocker. It was a shocker to everybody except me. And I've been telling everyone that the Minnesota Timberwolves is a bad matchup for the Denver Nuggets, and I'll tell you why. Because of those two bigs. Now, we already know they have nobody to guard Ant Edwards. He proved that last year, even though they went down 4-1 last year. He did average 31 points a game, right? And so it's already proven that they can't defend Anthony Edwards. But the last time you saw Denver struggle in a postseason was when? When they were healthy. Is when they played the Lakers in 2020. And who did the Lakers have on that team? Anthony Davis was playing the 4. Dwight Howard was playing the 5. And JaVale McGee was also playing the 5. And Jokic struggled with them. Now, I know you say it was 4 years ago, but yeah, he's gotten better since then. But the tendencies are still the same, right? You're gonna make him work hard. You're gonna make him work hard for his points. You're going to make him either a scorer or a passer. Last night, 32 points. He shot 25, 11 of 25. Good job by Rudy Gobert and the Minnesota Timberwolves. He had 9 assists and 8 rebounds. That's where you want to keep him. Only 8 rebounds, 9 assists. And the Minnesota Timberwolves pull off the upset, steal home court advantage, right? 106-99. They were a very good road team. You have to remember, during the season, they were 26-15 on the road. It's a very good road team. The Minnesota Timberwolves now, the confidence that Anthony Edwards is playing with, the Denver Nuggets will have to make an adjustment, and I mean starting game 2. He shot 29 times, 17 of 29. Now, Karl-Anthony Towns chipped in, but he didn't even have a big game when you look at it. 20 points, he only had 4 rebounds. Karl-Anthony Towns. He could play much better. All right. Jaden McDaniels, he is busy on the defensive end. And let me show you what impact is like and why I believe the Minnesota Timberwolves had a good chance of winning this series from the beginning. And I said if Denver was going to get knocked off, they will get knocked off by the Timberwolves. That's what I had predicted. Because they have all the ingredients to knock off the Denver Nuggets. You need size, so the Denver Nuggets are not dominating the rebounding. Perfect example, Game 1. Minnesota wins the rebounding 42-34. Denver only had 3 offensive rebounds. All right? So that means they not getting many second shot opportunities. Keep them off the board. They won the rebounding battle. They take game 1. All right, you have to play big against the Timberwolves. If you guys remember, Rudy Gobert earlier in the season when Minnesota defeated Denver, they was asking Rudy Gobert about this in the press conference. You guys can probably still find it. He said it with laughter, but people probably thought he was joking around. They said, how would you be able to be so effective against Jokic? He said, I watch old Dwight Howard videos, and the video he's referring to is the video that Dwight Howard was going around saying, when the Lakers were getting ready to play the Nuggets, Dwight Howard said, I'm going to show my face every single time a team gets eliminated. He was really talking about the Lakers. And every game the Lakers lost, he went and put his face up there. He has a video about how he mentally got into Jokic's head. He said it wasn't so much physically, but he mentally got into his head. And Dwight Howard said, if you're strong enough to where he's not pushing you around, you have the capability of mentally getting to his head. And Dwight Howard says he feels as though Nikola Jokic is still, even though he's a big, bruising center, Dwight Howard said he's still a tad bit finesse more than power. So if you're giving back power to him, you can probably get in his head. You can get in his head a little bit. And Dwight Howard said that's what he was able to do. Looking at the box scores, the Minnesota Timberwolves, 20 points for Karl Anthony Towns, 14 for Mike Conley. Of course, Ant Edwards with the big 43 points. Rudy Gobert 6 and Jaden McDaniels 0. They have to score a little more than that. But Naz Reid was great off the bench. He scored 16 points. They only had 2 points going into the fourth quarter. Finishes with 16. Kyle Anderson came in. He gave you 2 points, not much. And then Alexander came in 5 points. But he was a minus 16. For Denver, of course, you had 3 of the starters in double figures. 17 for Murray. He had an off night. Jokic had 32, and Michael Porter Jr. continues to stroke it from downtown. 20 points, 4 out of 7 from three-point land. He had 20, but their bench is going to be the problem. You had Christian Brown had 7 points. Reggie Jackson came in and played 14 minutes. He had 5 points. And Justin Holiday had 3 points. Watson played 6 points. He didn't score at all. So the Denver Nuggets, in my opinion, they're going to have to play DeAndre Jordan just to give Jokic a blow. No diddy. 6 minutes, 5 minutes, somewhere they have to give him. Especially Rudy Gobert is not a offensive center. So DeAndre Jordan, he could come in there, catch him a couple of putbacks, a dunk, a block shot, come out of there with 4 points, 4 rebounds. He'll have done his job because Jokic looked in a hurry tonight. The Minnesota Timberwolves were speeding him up, and he looked like he was in a hurry. He looked anxious. He looked impatient. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens when the Timberwolves and then play tomorrow night, right? So game 2 is tomorrow night, and that's going to be, of course, it's a pivotal game. The Timberwolves, they're going there with the mindset is we want to get 2. As Anthony Edwards said, I just want to kill everybody in front of me. Now, I do expect them to come out with a little bit different mentality. I believe Mike Malone will start off with Aaron Gordon on Anthony Edwards. I believe he'll start off with Aaron Gordon on him. They are going to have to mix and match once Naz Reid comes to the bench, but I believe he'll come out and play Aaron Gordon on him a little bit more so he doesn't get going, because Caldwell Pope, he's just too small. This dude, he's too small for Ant Edwards. Ant Edwards is too athletic, and he's got it going right now. But I do expect if they do not come out with Gordon on him, they will double team him way more. I believe on every catch, they're going to double team him, and they're going to force the Jaden McDaniels of the world. They're going to force the Mike Conleys of the world. They're going to force the Carl Anthony Towns of the world to beat them. I don't believe that Mike Malone is going. I don't believe Ant Edwards. I think he's going to have a subpar game too. Now the question is, will the Minnesota Timberwolves get enough from other guys to pull off a victory in game two? I can't see the Nuggets losing game two, so I'm going to say the Nuggets will win game two, and I think Ant Edwards will look different. If Anthony Edwards comes out game two and he has his way again, win, lose, or draw, it's going to be a long series for Denver Nuggets. If they're going to have to show me that they can slow Anthony Edwards down a little bit. Do you think Anthony Edwards and Minnesota Timberwolves have a shot of knocking off the Denver Nuggets? You know, I believe they are the nightmare matchup for Denver. I've always felt that way. Like I said, I like the bigs against Jokic. I think what Dwight Howard said had a lot of credence to it, and so did Rudy Gobert, obviously, because he said, I watched Dwight Howard films, and then earlier they started laughing because they were like, they probably thought he was joking around, but he was dead serious. All right, so let me know down in the comments what you think. Are the Minnesota Timberwolves, will they win this series? If not, let me know. What do you think? How many games this series is going? And let me know who you think is going to win this series. Minnesota up 1-0 as they win in Denver, 106-99, behind 43 points by the Ant-Man. It's your boy, Heaven Clark, for Sports Fanatic.